Hello.
Hello.
Welcome back to Wandering Toronto. God, I did your type of hello just there, did you?
Yeah,
Hello.
you
Which is
just
that's
you just copied
I'm
me.
starting to mimic. I obviously think it sounds really good and cheerful.
Thanks. That's all.
Important in these unprecedented times.
Whoa.
Gah! Sorry.
That was very like movie, start of a movie
Yeah.
overtone, like, and the world has
Yeah.
started to end.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Peepers.
shifting.
Yeah,
Ah, screw it.
that's where we are. Right,
Yeah.
so the world's starting to end. Cool. And we decided to do a podcast about how to make your eyes beautiful.
Yeah, 'cause pretty eyes are like, I mean, the most important thing. When the ship is going down,
Make sure your eyes
everyone
twinkle.
is like, massive pop from the eyes.
I'm dying.
Yeah, exactly.
They
She
slowly
died
sink.
gracefully and with these stunning irises.
Stunning
She sank.
irises. Has anyone ever said that before? Wow, your irises are so stunning.
I think you have stunning irises, and I think we know why.
Okay, anyway, what I have been hearing from lots of people online, and certainly clients who are getting in touch with me, and even journalists who are getting in touch with me, is that there is an epidemic in eye health and people being concerned about what do their eyes look like and what is the best mascara to use and how can they make themselves look more beautiful from here up because we are all wearing masks.
Pause. That is the most superficial epidemic I've ever heard of. It's an epidemic, is it really?
Well, okay,
All the
right.
beauticians are going, it's an epidemic!
It's an epidemic.
God.
What mascara? Okay, no, I mean that sounds really ridiculous, but at the same time, it's a valid thing because our self-esteem is like part of what makes us feel like I'm going out into the world, I'm doing good things, I'm relating to people in a nice way, and the more we feel good about ourselves, the more we're good to the people around
Yeah.
us. And at the moment, it hasn't historically, for the last few months, been a time where people feel great about themselves.
No, at all.
For
True,
a variety of reasons. And no one feels great. Well, most people don't feel great about wearing masks. They might think that it's the right thing to do, but I don't think many people enjoy wearing them.
Yeah.
And it feels like it's taking away. It's like we've made all these choices in our life about what we're going to wear and how we look, and we cultivate that to give an impression of who we are from the
Yeah.
inside. And then suddenly now wearing a mask, and half of that's being taken away.
I'd love to know the percentage of women who are still wearing lipstick under their masks.
Yeah, interesting.
Because I know one of the reps who came into me from natural medicine company, Janet, hello Janet. So she was wearing her mask obviously and the visor actually, and I was like, that's intense. I mean, this is a hospital environment, like what's going on? She's like, it's the protocol from the company. I was like, okay. So we sat down and we had a chat and we were talking. Basically what she sells to us is cosmetics, and she's like, and I said, like, she was trying to talk about new tinted lip balms coming out. I was like, Janet, tinted lip balms, surely now isn't the time for launching tinted lip balms. She's like, actually Finn, well, I am wearing lipstick under my mask, and I bet you if you ask most women they are as well. And I was like, are they? I'd love to know. Do you?
Well, I have to say I'm not really.
You're not wearing a mask so much.
I'm not wearing a mask so much, and I'm also not really a lipstick wearer so much. I wear lip balm and balm. My lips are quite big, so I don't tend to wear lipstick because it just makes them enormous.
Yeah, okay.
But yes, I think because you're going to be getting ready for the day, and then
you don't just like stop
you
your
don't just
makeup
go like I'm
routine
only doing foundation up to here, and then if something happens where you get to take your mask off, you're suddenly like, "What?"
Well, there is that old air hostess thing where they only do their foundation right to here, okay? So, who knows? It could just be like creeping up the face.
And
now.
also, I think it's the same as you think about people who wear hijabs. Most of us wear makeup to feel good about ourselves. It's because we look in the mirror and we see ourselves as we want to see ourselves, and then we go like, I feel good about myself, and I go about the day. It's not necessarily for other people.
Yeah.
So regardless of whether people can see under your mask, it's like wearing nice underwear, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're going like, I know that my underwear is really nice.
Yeah.
And you're not all seeing it,
Yeah.
but and maybe no one will see it, but I still feel better about myself because
Yeah.
I'm going, fancy underwear.
It's strange, but it does make a difference. Okay, yeah, fair enough. I buy into that idea because I do it. Yeah. So yeah, my bamboo booty underwear is like, I think, yeah, it just feels like a treat.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny, isn't it? Okay, so treats in tough times. So as we're talking about this, like when it comes to making your eyes a beautiful place to look at and to be in, without going to the point of, eyelash extensions and like serious, plastic surgery around the eye area. I'm 38. I've suddenly got things going on here. Now, as a guy, I recognise that I'm talking into a bit of a vacuum probably of men who care about this, although I think maybe that's shifting. But like, what are my tools? I know I have nutrients that I help to support that. which we'll talk about. I know I have herbs that help to support that. And I know some of the cosmetics as well, because I also have a little cosmetics cabinet that you and others occasionally rob from. And when you're in the industry with natural cosmetics, you start to find that things just actually do make you feel good about, like the regime, the routine actually of eye health is really, really nice. And one of the things that lady Janet sells to us is a trilogy eye oil thing, and it's got a little kind of metal rotary ball thing. It just feels lovely going on, because it's a cold metal with this lovely like cooling serum thing. And I mean, I honestly don't know. I think my eyes are going to get old regardless, but it feels really nice. And it for like, 5 minutes after that, I'm like, blinking, like I'm like the whole thing has grown and everything is taut and firm and plump and juicy, and it's great.
Yeah.
But you have particular tools around this also, don't you? Basically the reason for this podcast.
Yeah, I do. So I teach face yoga and eye yoga.
Do you?
Yeah.
Tell us about face yoga and eye yoga. I haven't heard of them before.
So face yoga and eye yoga are two kind of different components, but there's obviously a merging point between those two. There's a Venn diagram. There's a bit in both of them. So in face yoga we do some eye stuff. In an eye yoga we do stuff around the eyes as well. So in the greater eye area, one would say. And then in regular yoga we also look at ojas, and people always hear me talk about ojas, but it's like the juices in our bodies. So if we're looking at eye health, we want to have eyes that are nicely lubricated. That's really important, and we need to have good lymphatic drainage under the eyes, otherwise we get puffiness and dark circles. And so we can kind of look at it from a yoga perspective from a couple of different ways. We can come at it from an internal health point of view. So how can we get these juices? How can we keep the lubrication there? How can we prevent things like dry eyes and allergies? And then we can look at it also from an external beauty point of view. So looking at the crow's feet and the fine lines and wrinkles that are around there. And also sometimes we tend to get kind of sagging in our upper eyelids, or in the areas above our eyebrows, which drag everything down here.
Oh yeah, interesting.
And then we also get, like I mentioned before, puffiness and dark circles. And face yoga and eye yoga can help to combat all of those things and minimize the appearance of those wrinkles, but also help to make the eyes look brighter and more youthful and wider. And I think ultimately it's such a simple thing. It's not like a massive commitment. It's just a few different exercises that you would bring into your daily routine. Where are you laughing at me?
Sorry, I can't, because I just started, while she was talking, I started doing like the one like eye yoga exercise that I do quite often, which is this.
Yeah, very good.
And I have to do it without furrowing my brow. Very difficult. Try it at home.
It's very hard.
But yeah, like, what am I saying?
Why are you
It's looking very intense. Sorry.
It's staring at you doing your eye yoga.
Continue.
So yeah, I think ultimately it's a little tiny commitment. So it's not about doing a whole full yoga practice. It's like 5 minutes a day, but it's part of your self-care ritual. And I think at the moment when we're going out into the day, you're going to have to wear a mask all day long. Lots of people are feeling icky about that. If they know that they've spent some time on their eyes, which maybe they're feeling self-conscious about, they're going to go out into the world and they're going to make eye contact more easily. They're going to feel better about themselves. They're going to feel more comfortable about this new restriction that we have. And I think anything that makes us feel better about that and better about ourselves in this environment that we find ourselves in now is just a win-win situation. And once you've learnt them, they're free.
Yeah. And also, so if you want to have expressive eyes, i.e. if you're down from here down, you're not communicating particularly well in terms of like your facial whatever language of do I like you, do I not, am I happy, am I sad, am I angry, whatever. Having expressive eyes, like having trained the muscles around the eyes, I would imagine it's probably quite useful to communicate your emotional state to your partners. Like, what am I thinking now?
Yeah, I know. That is a useful thing, but it's also about like where do we hold our tension patterns? Because the last couple of months have been really stressful, and lots of us, for me, it's this furrowed the 11 lines in between the brow, or furrowed brow thing here.
You have a 1 on 11 though. You have a single line, which is everyone else has a double line. Almost inhuman. That's it. You haven't even got the second line.
I've got one. My number 1 line. And so sometimes, a lot of us have spent a lot more time in front of computers. Some of us never. Like I was rarely in front of a computer, and now it's like hours a day in front of Zoom teaching yoga. And lots more people are having dry eyes. Lots more people are getting tension headaches. People are squinting, all of that kind of stuff. And it's really, this is stuff that we can really start to correct with our yoga. And it's just about getting an awareness of when am I doing those things and how can I use my body in a way that serves me like a little bit better. And I think, all of that stuff is really easily rectified if you know how to do it.
Okay, so teach me some eye yoga.
Okay, so There's a combination I think that's useful, which is doing some of the face yoga eye exercises, doing some eye yoga exercises, and then doing some eye massage.
Okay.
So I think we'll do like a balance of those things.
Great. And leave time to talk about nutrition. I'm doing it already. I know. I'm sorry.
You're like started already.
Sorry.
So something that we're going to start with is taking our middle fingers and just placing them into that space where the number 11 lines are. And then the bottom one comes to the very corner of the eye, so right where the edge of the eye is.
Yeah.
And what you're looking for is a little bit of a twitch in the eye muscles. Then you know that you're working those eye muscles at the corner.
Yeah,
and what this one
yeah.
is going to do is it's going to help us to just strengthen those eye muscles at the end and minimize the fine wrinkles here, but also make the eyes a little bit brighter. So you're just pressing there, and then you're going to half close your eyes, so just a little bit, and you're going to feel that little twitching, and then release, and then in.
Without furrowing that brow, that's tough, eh?
Yeah, but just start with the eyes. The other stuff comes in later. So you're just isolating those eye muscles, like little lifts in the gym. And again, one more time. And now keep your hands where they are, but close your eyes, and you can feel that little flicker then, even once the eyes are closed there.
More so, actually.
Yeah, and then just relax your shoulders and keep breathing, and just hold there for 3, 2, 1, and then release and blink your eyes open.
Nice.
Okay, so you would do that 3 times through, and that's going to help to tone this lower eyelid area as well then.
And does this eye yoga thing, does this come back to actual, like, Vedic practice? Like, does it belong in old yoga? It does?
Yeah, it does, absolutely, because the face and eye yoga comes from Sukshma yoga, which is the yoga of micro movements, and that's the whole of the body. So it's like fingers, toes, tongue, all those fine motor skills. And then you're also looking at kind of purification practices. So you're looking at like how to get better quality tears, how to get the ojas juices flowing better in the eyes, how are you detoxing from the face, and all of that kind of internal purification is mirrored on the outside of the
That
skin.
makes sense. Nice, cool.
So next one we're going to do is fingers in towards the nose, just on the base here. And what you're doing is a slight push in and pull down with those fingers. So you're kind of immobilizing that bottom area where we were working. And now you're going to look up and you're going to blink just with the upper eyelid as fast as you can for 20 seconds. Yeah, keep going. So now we're toning that upper eyelid area, having toned the lower eyelid area. Keep going.
Just so you can see.
3.
Does it look great?
2, 1. And then release and take a deep breath in and out. And then blink your eyes open. You can see your eyes feel quite tired already.
It's mad.
So when you're looking at people doing it, it looks like they're doing a very little amount for a very little amount of time. And you're kind of like, how can this make a difference? But you think that those muscles are so tiny. And what you don't want to do is bring more strain to them.
Yeah,
so we're not used to isolating our eyes. What we tend to do is use our head to turn. So we want to look over there instead of going like that.
Yeah.
We go like that. So our eye muscles have got really lazy. And so many of us wear glasses or contact lenses. Some people have eyes that turn in, some people have a tendency when they're tired to go cross-eyed. You know, eye yoga is something that you can work on all of those things that are to do with the musculature of the eyes and actually help to correct those things. And people with those things might feel more self-conscious about that now when people are only looking at their eyes.
Yeah.
You know, so eye yoga is really a way if you're going, I really want to spend some time correcting this, or my vision's got really bad because I've been looking at the computer screen. If you actually work on targeted eye yoga exercises, you're going to improve that pathway between the eyes and the brain.
That's interesting.
So you're changing the grey matter of the brain to make our eyes work better and how we process our information work better. But we're also strengthening the eye muscles themselves.
Yeah. So this is something for me specifically as well, because I got diagnosed just after lockdown with a thing called central serous retinopathy, which is a very unfortunate issue where the choroid layer, which is the layer that supplies all of the it's a really vascular layer in the eye that supplies all of the blood flow into the macula and into the retina. It unfortunately leaks little bits of fluid into the back of the eye, and in my case it leaked into kind of the central vision, so it started to cause a little blind patch, and that's got to do with cortisol release and that sort of stuff. And usually, so retinopathy, we're used to hearing about diabetic retinopathy is a really common one, but the kind of causes behind this are, obviously different in terms of one is related to excess blood sugar, one's related to cortisol, but it just shows you that the eye as an area is really susceptible to other broader scale kind of nutritional changes in the body or physiological changes in the body. And it's something I really started paying attention to now, and I noticed, and I've always had apparently astigmatism in my eye, but a very slight astigmatism. I've noticed it way more pronounced now since lockdown. I mean, sometimes I'm literally triple screening. How bad is that for my little eyes?
Yeah,
iPhone, laptop and television, duh. Anyway, that sort of stuff has to stop. And so, and I've started wearing like blue light blocking glasses as well, because blue light, we don't know the full extent of the damage that blue light does to our eyes from screens. There's a lot of the information that's around it that's either not completed or it's kind of suppressed, or there's lots of ramifications for that screen exposure, and wearing like either amber glasses during the day or blue light blocking glasses in the evening is something to really think about for people who are on home office and working throughout the day on their screens, and taking those little breaks to do eye yoga within that. It's a really nice way of like, you're getting inside your body, you're controlling your breath work, you're taking time away from your screen, and it feels like a, like a lot of those things, like when you do even 5 minutes of yoga, it feels like you've been away from your screen for half an hour. It feels like you've got a proper break. It's not just like a mindless, I went downstairs, boiled the kettle, wait for the kettle, boiled the tea, and brought it back upstairs. There's something to it. You've actually achieved something within that.
Yeah, I think one of the really simple things that I'm always getting people to do when they're in front of screens is a technique that's called palming. And what you're doing is you're just rubbing your hands. And I always start and end every yoga practice like this too. But it's a really good thing that you can do, if you timed it to start every 45 minutes in the day, you want to rub your hands until they get really, really hot. And once they get hot, you're going to just place the palm of the hands over the eyes and close your eyes into them. And you can just gently massage in little circles around here. So you'll feel the contact points of the upper eyebrow and the cheekbone here. And you're just letting your eyes rest into the darkness. And what it's doing is giving your optic nerve a chance to really switch off and rest, because we're taking in billions of images per second through our retina. And here it's just letting the eye just completely rest. It's like a yoga nidra for your eye. And then to come out of it, you're just going to blink your eyes open into the darkness of your hand, so the light creeps in between the fingers really slow. And then inhale and grow tall. And then exhale, release the hands and come back down. And there's a lot of studies on this and shown how just doing that exercise alone can help to reverse huge amounts of eye damage, just that. So it's a really simple thing. It's less is more with the eyes.
Yeah.
And certainly we talked about lymphatic drainage. Patting around here is really good, so just little taps in and out. And then you can take that tap all the way around.
And speaking like beyond lymphatic drainage, if anybody has sinusitis or rhinitis, this little percussive effect on your sinus cavities, so your sinus cavities here and here and here as well, and that can have a massive effect on loosening up congestion to help you kind of deal with all of the kind of, you locked indoors, exposed to dust, exposed to all the kind of home allergens, stuff that can lead to a lot of like chronic infection and real kind of disturbance of life quality as well, like disruption of life quality of life. There's
a little point here right at the corner of the eyes, just where we were touching before, and you're just doing little tiny pulses here, and this can help to bring brightness to the eyes. So it's encouraging circulation, lymphatic drainage in that area to come back here. So it's just a really...
And that's where our tear ducts are as well, isn't it? Yeah.
Exactly.
Tears are amazing.
They are.
So women release something like 4 times the amount of a pain relieving chemical in their tears than men do. That's something I've discovered in the last few years, and it kind of goes a bit of a way to explaining why women are more prone to tears than men. Because I mean, if they were just releasing pain relieving chemicals all the time, you'd just say, cool, I'm just going to cry it out once again. But tears and that tear film is such an important thing as well, protection from dust. And dry eyes.
What can you take for those things?
So dry eyes are a really interesting thing, and so it relates obviously to fatty acids, essential fatty acids in our diet, and apart from working on that little tear duct can make a big difference for dry eyes. But like when the tear ducts get blocked, quite often that's to do with an imbalance of fatty acids in your diet. So omega-7 particularly fatty acids, so you get them in like sea buckthorn and in fish oils as well that aren't too refined. That will really help, and anything that helps support circulation to the eye, so that it's such a little vascular space. There's so much circulation. I mean, you can feel the amount of work it's doing from the stuff we've talked about, and anything that helps to support circulation and support microarterial circulation particularly, so the little arteries, capillaries go to our brain, our extremities and into the backs of our eyes. Herbs like cayenne will be really important for that. Yarrow, horse chestnut, really good as well. And nutrients, any nutrients that are really rich in anthocyanins. So grapeseed extract is probably the best known thing for this, but it helps to shore up the kind of lesions, so the little damages that happen along the artery walls and on the capillary walls, and so that those little antioxidants get into those little gaps and help to prevent that sort of leakage, which is exactly my problem. So I'm working hard on that, and we'll keep you updated with progress.
And you can make little compresses, right, with like teas and just putting them in cotton wool pads. And we used to do that cucumber thing.
Great with like marigold, with arnica maybe, with eyebright obviously. Chamomile is another really good one as well if you're having like suffering from tired eyes. And just hydrate. I mean, like we've spoken about all the weird stuff, but hydration is such a massive thing. I've had some amazing testimonials from people who, after long chats and repeated visits to specialists and physicians, they've come into us and I'm said like, okay, but actually after all talking about all this stuff, how much water are you getting? And they say, well, I drink a glass or two a day. I'm like, okay, triple that, quadruple that, get it to like 2.5 liters a day, put in like half a teaspoon of Himalayan salt into that and see does it make a difference. They come back and like, I'm cured. Like it's profound, really profound. So
simple and less is more.
Always, exactly. And this is not big time input stuff we're talking about. It's just stuff to build into your diet. So what I use now in the morning, every morning, I have cayenne tincture in my water, which is a powerful cardiovascular tonic. Really helps to wake you up, makes you feel really good. Great for all the peripheral circulation. So everything from your toes to the backs of your eyes, and I think sexual organs as well is an important part as well.
So like coming into winter, it's such a key time. Cayenne is such a great one. People are getting chilblains, they're getting like mottled feet, all that kind of stuff, and it's such a great way to get that kind of warming, heating. In yoga we call it agni, digestive fire. Just get everything like fired up, so you're getting that internal heat, and that's really, really important into the winter.
Exactly. And on a slight aside before we finish, I just finished reading something yesterday about how our body temperature, they think that the reason our body temperature is so high, so much higher than most other mammals, is because we've been chased by fungus throughout the history of human evolution and before humans were around, and fungus essentially kind of gets killed off by heat, and so they've tracked body temperature increase in humans and the temperature that fungus can sustain as well. So they've shown that as our body temperature increases, candida and other fungal infections are beginning to be able to like cope with higher temperatures all the time, but they're just about keeping up. As they cope with a higher temperature, our body then decides, okay, I'm going to go to 98.7 or 98.8. So actually our temperature regulation is actually going higher and higher all the time as humans. So it's another thing that it's a really good thing to like heat your body up, because heating your body up kills pathogens. That's why we get a fever. And it's one of the things that very few living organisms on the planet can do, is to rid themselves of pathogenic attack by heating up. And cayenne is a great one to help to support that.
Yeah. So if we were looking at like an eye health protocol for someone who's
to get back to the point.
No, that's really important. But like just to round it up, if people are going, okay, well, what are the few takeaways that I take from this if I want to make changes to my eye health, but also to the appearance of my eyes? How might a day of eye health look like? So we start in the morning with a cayenne tincture.
And step outside, view something that's very far off, because in your day you're probably viewing things that are no further away than 10 meters, and your eyes really, that's not training that muscle to, what's it called again? Oh God, I can't remember. It's the lens. To view in the distance and view things close up, and that's a really powerful part of our training. So if you look at a thing called the Bates method online, that's something you can try to integrate. But even just in the morning, just going, okay, I'm looking at the chimney pot across, that's what I do, look at the chimney pot across the way, and then looking at my thumb, chimney pot across the way, look at my thumb, drinking my cayenne tincture, back inside. Throughout your day, then taking maybe 2 or 3 breaks to do eye yoga?
Yeah, I think, what I do is, in terms of incorporating face and eye yoga into my routine, is I think of it kind of like brushing your teeth. Like you wake up, you wash your face, you put your moisturizer on, you do a couple of face or eye yoga exercises, you go about the day. And then that palming thing, if you are looking at screens all day long, and all of the kind of tapping things and the little circular movements around here and using this point, they're kind of as often as you possibly can do them. So anytime you think of them during the day, just do them. And that could be when you're watching TV, could be when you're thinking while you're reading an article on your computer, or whatever it is. Just trying to bring them in little and often is really important, because you're re-stimulating. Get the circulation there, get the lymphatic drainage moving, get all those juices flowing to the eyes, because we tend not to blink so much when we're looking at the screens. We concentrate and we keep our eyes open. Women need to blink twice as much as men, so we need to keep blinking and just get that lubrication back in there, so as often as possible that you can do those things. And if you're really interested for eye yoga, when we were talking about that long distance and close up, there are so many really structural exercises if you're looking at trying to improve your vision that you can be doing daily, and there's millions of them. So find someone who teaches eye yoga. I have some videos on YouTube, but look into them, because you can reverse your prescription massively if you do them. And they are things like looking at your thumb and then bringing it back in, or doing clockwise circles. And they do just structurally work, just like PT or anything. They're just training muscles. We have them in our eyes, of course. Yeah, cool, great. So that then maybe getting anthocyanin-rich foods throughout your day, getting some blueberries in there, some beetroot, any dark purple fruit and veg would be great. Making sure you're getting things that rich in carotenoids as well, so all your yellows and greens,
maybe drinking cups of marigold tea. That's no harm either, because that's where you've got a lot of that lutein, a lot of healing properties to help to support the eyes. Making sure you're hydrating in general throughout the day, and then in the evening time making sure that you definitely don't have blue light exposure within like 2 or 3 hours of bed. But essentially, as the sun goes down, that's kind of when our blue light exposure should pretty much end. So look at things on your phone to help to filter out blue light. Most phones have those functions these days, nighttime modes or similar things. Blue light blocking glasses for the evening. Look at the types of bulbs in your house. If you have fluorescent bulbs, get rid of them. They are not good for your health. So yeah, get rid of fluorescent bulbs. Put in the old school incandescents, or get like LEDs on dimmers. Something where you can improve that orangey yellowy quality to your light in the evening. And all those bits and bobs.
And then doing the soaking. So if you are drinking the marigold tea, just keep the last bit in there and let it steep so that you get this stronger liquid. And then just take cotton wool pads, dunk them in, make them nice and warm, and just lie back. So it's
feels
rest.
lovely as well.
Rest is so important for our eyes because we never switch them off. That's the thing. And just like we're learning about our nervous systems, we're learning, okay, yoga nidra, that relaxation at the end of yoga is really important. But we all have a tendency to go, well, if there's one bit of it I'm skipping, I'm going to skip that rest bit. We do the same with our eyes. We're like, okay, we might do the exercise, we can take the supplements, but doing the rest bit, not so much. And that's important during the day. Of course, we close our eyes at night time, but those little break periods when we're looking at screens, just to switch off the optic nerve and get a moment to go, and reset. That's really important.
That's it. Great. So I hope that was helpful. And
if you want to know more, send in questions and we will answer them for you, and we will put a list of all those supplements and how to buy them in the show notes.
And the schedule for Lydia's upcoming workshops or whatever she'll be doing online, so that you guys can tune into all of her eye and face yoga things.
Bye.
Bye.